In this video, we explore the 7 veils of illusion that keep you from your true self. Across centuries and cultures, mystics, philosophers, and spiritual teachers have spoken of illusions that obscure the truth of who we are. Whether called Maya in the East, Plato's shadows on the cave wall, or psychological constructs in modern thought, these veils are the filters through which we perceive reality. They shape our thoughts, our emotions, our identities, and ultimately our experience of life. Yet they are not absolute. They are perceptual overlays, transparent enough to be seen through if we cultivate awareness, inquiry, and the courage to look beyond appearances. Understanding these veils is not merely an intellectual exercise. It is a profound path to freedom, for as each veil is lifted, we find ourselves closer to the essence that has always been there, the silent, expansive awareness that is our true nature. The first veil, the veil of identity. The first veil is the illusion of identity. It asserts, I am my name, my story, my titles, my roles. From the moment we are born, we inherit a series of labels. We become someone's child, a member of a nation, a bearer of a particular history. As we grow, we gather identities like garments: student, professional, artist, partner, parent. Each identity carries expectations, behaviors, and limitations. These identities serve a practical purpose in society, enabling us to function and relate to others. Yet the danger lies in mistaking the mask for the face. When we become overly identified with our personal story, we confine ourselves to its boundaries. Philosophers like Krishnamurti have reminded us that the self we cling to is a construct, a bundle of memories, experiences, and conditioning. Beneath it lies pure consciousness, beyond name and form. In moments of profound presence, whether in meditation, deep reflection, or moments of awe, we sometimes glimpse the truth that we are not the character in the story, but the awareness in which the story appears. Understanding this veil is the beginning of inner liberation. The second veil, the veil of separation. The second veil is the illusion of separation. It declares, I am isolated, I am separate from others, from nature, and from the universe. This illusion is perhaps the most persistent and consequential. It fosters the belief that we exist as solitary entities, disconnected from the whole. It is the root of fear, conflict, and existential loneliness. Yet mystics across traditions have spoken of the same truth, that beneath the diversity of forms, there is a single, underlying reality. The ancient Upanishads proclaim, Tat Tivam Asi, you are that. Hermetic teachings speak of correspondence, of the unity of microcosm and macrocosm. Quantum physics hints at non-local connections, where particles remain mysteriously linked across vast distances. The sense of separation arises because our senses perceive boundaries, bodies, objects, distances. But consciousness itself knows no such borders. When the veil of separation lifts, compassion naturally emerges. The suffering of another is felt as one's own. The joy of another amplifies one's own joy. To see beyond this veil is to recognize the fundamental unity of existence. It is to understand that we are individual waves on the same vast ocean of consciousness. The third veil, the veil of materialism. The third veil is the illusion of materialism. It suggests my value, my fulfillment, my purpose are determined by what I possess, what I achieve, and how I appear to others. Civilizations throughout history have grappled with this illusion. In times of material abundance, societies often become convinced that external acquisitions equate to happiness. Wealth, status, beauty, and power become the currency of worth. Yet this pursuit, while temporarily satisfying, leads to an endless cycle of craving and dissatisfaction. Philosophers such as Seneca and Epictetus observed that material wealth can never fulfill the deeper longing of the soul. There is nothing inherently wrong with material comfort, but suffering arises when we seek ultimate fulfillment in impermanent things. Everything external is subject to change, decay, and loss. What is gained can be lost. What is praised can be criticized tomorrow. True fulfillment emerges from within, from qualities such as wisdom, inner peace, love, and the joy of simply being. When the veil of materialism lifts, one discovers that the deepest riches lie in awareness, in presence, and in the subtle beauty of life itself. The fourth veil, the veil of fear. The fourth veil is the illusion of fear. It warns, life is dangerous. I must protect myself from uncertainty and risk. Fear is a primal emotion. It serves a biological purpose, alerting us to real threats. Yet in the realm of the human mind, fear often expands far beyond physical survival. We fear failure, rejection, vulnerability, loss, and even our own inner potential. Fear contracts consciousness. It narrows our vision and prevents us from exploring the unknown. It keeps us confined within familiar, but often limiting patterns. The wisdom traditions teach that fear is not an adversary to be annihilated, but a messenger revealing where we are still bound by illusion. Carl Jung observed that what you resist not only persists, but will grow in size. Fear diminishes in the light of awareness and understanding. To question fear is to realize that most of what we fear is mental projection. And even when difficulties do arise, we often discover that we possess greater resilience than we believed. When this veil begins to lift, we find the courage to live authentically, to speak our truth, and to embrace the fullness of our potential. The fifth veil, the veil of time. The fifth veil is the illusion of time. It whispers, "I am bound to my past and my future is uncertain. The present is merely a bridge between the two." Human consciousness is unique in its capacity to remember the past and imagine the future. While this capacity serves many practical functions, it also becomes a source of suffering. People dwell on regrets, harbor grievances, and carry burdens from past experiences. They project anxieties and hopes onto a future that has not yet arrived. Yet the present moment is the only reality. The past exists as memory, the future exists as imagination. Spiritual teachers across traditions have emphasized this truth. The Buddha described mindfulness as dwelling fully in the here and now. Eckhart Tolle speaks of the power of now as the gateway to liberation. In deep presence, time seems to dissolve. The mind grows still. Life becomes vivid, spacious, and peaceful. One discovers that the true self exists outside the confines of linear time, as timeless awareness, witnessing the unfolding of phenomena. To lift the veil of time is to find eternity in this very moment. The sixth veil, the veil of beliefs. The sixth veil is the illusion of beliefs. It insists, my beliefs define reality. What I believe is true. Beliefs shape perception. They influence how we interpret events, how we relate to others, and how we define ourselves. Yet beliefs, however deeply held, are not synonymous with truth. Many of our beliefs are inherited from culture, religion, family, and past experiences. Some serve us, others limit us. Beliefs can create frameworks of meaning, but can also become rigid structures that resist growth and new understanding. Socrates declared that the unexamined life is not worth living. Spiritual maturity requires the willingness to examine and question our beliefs, especially those that cause suffering or division. It is not necessary to live without beliefs altogether, but to hold them lightly, to recognize them as lenses rather than ultimate truths. Reality is vaster than any single narrative we construct about it. When the veil of beliefs begins to lift, we become open to new insights, deeper wisdom, and the mystery that lies beyond all concepts. And the seventh veil, the veil of unworthiness. The seventh veil is the illusion of unworthiness. It whispers, I am flawed, I am not enough, I must earn love, acceptance, and even spiritual realization. This veil may be the most pervasive and deeply rooted. It keeps individuals locked in cycles of striving and self-criticism. It breeds comparison, perfectionism, and quiet despair. Yet from the perspective of deeper wisdom, the notion of inherent unworthiness is an illusion. Mystical teachings across cultures affirm that every being is a manifestation of the same universal consciousness. The spark of divinity lies equally in all. The Upanishads remind us, Tat Tvam Asi, you are that. The teachings of mystics and sages echo this truth. You are already whole, already complete, already enough. The journey is not about becoming worthy, but about remembering the worth that has always been yours. When the veil of unworthiness lifts, it does not breed arrogance, but humility and peace. One realizes that worth is intrinsic, not conditional. In conclusion, the seven veils of illusion are not barriers imposed by fate. They are patterns of perception woven into human consciousness. They arise from conditioning, fear, and the limits of sensory experience. Yet they are not immutable. They can be seen through, questioned, and gently dissolved. As each veil lifts, what emerges is the luminous presence of your true self, vast, aware, connected, and free. The journey inward is not merely an escape from suffering, but a return to reality as it truly is. Beyond these veils lies a profound simplicity, that you are consciousness itself, timeless and whole, that you are not separate from life, but an expression of its infinite creativity, and that peace, wisdom, and fulfillment are found not in acquiring more, but in discovering what has always been present within you. May this understanding inspire you to look beyond appearances, to question the inherited narratives of the mind, and to remember the unchanging awareness that witnesses all experience. For in knowing your true self, you know the essence of life itself.